Captain's Vlog, Stardate 2024.526. It's week one of open house, and actually, it's not open house. It's more appointments. So I don't know much about condominiums. I'm trying to figure out what my mom is trying to do. My family's trying to move me somewhere as affordable. It's a clash of egos. Now, I told you what my other choices were, and I've packed a small amount of clothing and like soap and very few toys or puzzles and my Steam Deck, of course, because of all the recent things that I've invested in, there's two things I invested in. One was my Mongoose scooter that I got to replace my Razer scooter, which was falling apart, and my Steam Deck. The thing that I don't know if the phishing scam was connected to that, but it seemed like it was. I don't know what was going on, but yeah, be very careful when you open up text messages. It says go to this. It looks just like your bank app and shit. So you got to have your bank apps and stuff. Be very careful of that. The old-fashioned scams is when people call you up and say, "Oh, your account is in trouble. Give me the three digits in the back of your card and all that shit." So anybody that tries to fish people can go fuck their mother's ass. But anyway, so that's Steam Deck. And I keep my pay stubs as proof that, hey, I was willing to work hard. Uh, even if I had them, even if I got a job now, it's minimum wage work in which I am working minimum wage, blue collar work, and it wouldn't pay for a house. It would pay maybe for an apartment, a halfway house, or living in a shelter, doing well, but not to that level. It just doesn't happen. Um, so the first day was on a Wednesday. So I saw this dude with the bald head. He parked in my driveway, and I had to explain to him when the lady comes. It's a woman realtor. You know, most women take on those jobs because you can make up your own hours. You can do whatever. So when this happened, so the guy parked. I said, when the woman comes, you have to move the car out of the driveway so she can put her car in. It's just technical nonsense, okay? So basically, she does appointments for 3 hours a day for 2 days of the week. So 104 days total of the year. Probably less than that since there are 52 weeks in a year, and we started in late May. So that's happening. So Wednesdays from 2 to 5, Saturdays from 2 to 4, 2 to 5, something like that. So the first day I just went to my local library. It was okay. It's a peaceful library. My library has Star Wars memorabilia. I spent the time doing some reading. I actually looked at George Lucas made a speech. He was at an event, a Cannes event, on Saturday or Thursday, Friday, something like that. Talking about, he's defending his work. The thing is, as far as George Lucas goes, he kind of deserved to have these movies happen. All the Star Wars stuff that's happened from Disney is his fault because he sold it, okay? But even worse, you trusted it to a woman with privileges, okay? As I was listening to Richard, your boy Zach, for the comic stuff, when you had Ann Nesenti and you had different women in Marvel Comics from the 70s to 80s, women didn't start out with the comics. They started out doing other jobs, and then they had to do what I call a little bit of college, and then they got to be writers and artists. Now you have privileged women, okay, and my family members are examples of this. Okay, if you didn't have abusive fathers, you had abusive mothers and sisters. So Gail Simone. So Kathleen Kennedy, you're aligning yourself with somebody who had really no experience doing series of work. Now Steven Spielberg taking over Lucasfilm would make more sense because Steven understands, but Steven's still trying to be, he's still working, he's still hustling, he's not retiring into that phase. People would have wanted Rick McCallum to do it, but you know. So George Lucas is kind of just stating what he feels. Okay, now it's still wrong what happened, but you can't blame George after the fact. After he sells it, that's it. It's there. It's theirs. You get, as George Lucas said, you give it up. You give it up. You can't worry about it anymore. And as Joe Rogan would put it, you're there to make, every other character is there to make the money for Lucasfilm, for Disney. So I did some reading, and I updated my Steam Deck. Came home on Wednesday. No problems. It's not easy to have strangers in the house. This house had been vacant. I had been the only one, like a hermit, in this house for, I would say, 14 years. Okay, no problems. Saturday came. I went to my park. It's a park that's about 2 miles away. Okay, and let me just pause for a moment. So I went to the park that I had. You know what? The last time I went to that local park that was 2 miles away, um, I had not been there since maybe the late 2000s. I think no, maybe 2011. So maybe I had not been there about 13 years. That's a fuck of a long time. The fruit tree that would drop like the sort of I don't know if it was citrus fruit. It was some sort of fruit. I forget if it was citrus fruit or if it was some other fruit. It's still there. Everything that was there before when I was there in 2011 is still there. Like nothing, not even the cedar chip kind of ground where the kids play on the playgrounds. That was, I mean, it's basically the short that I was showing you, the squirrels. That's the park, and there are these big trees. Um, oh, I don't know. They're not oak trees, but different trees. The ones you can't climb because they're too smooth, and then smaller trees, and then they're building a dog park indoors. As I'm looking from my point of view, if you're sitting where I'm sitting and you're looking to your right and to your left, right, the left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing. Um, so I'm looking around and everything is the same as it was before. All right. Yeah, so hung out at the park, saw the squirrels. I was reading one of the old Superman comics, and then I was reading Rod Serling's Planet of the Apes, and I'm going to review that tonight. I think I really want to take a read at it, um, and that's about it, man. Nothing more to report. Um, it's scary because I don't know exactly what's going to happen. I don't understand these things. So the house has to be in escrow, meaning it has to be technically sold, and then the lady has to be able to find me a new house. So I don't know how exactly to the T how these things work. Uh, you know, people should know how to do every single thing, like how to buy a house, how to sell a house, how to tie your own shoes, how to buy your own car, how to rent a car, how to lease a car, how to take out loans and pay for insurance or whatever you're doing. My attitude is I'll cross that bridge when I see it, when I need to cross it. That's not a great attitude, but it's the only one that I can afford at the time. You know, don't don't research all this stuff unless you really need to. But every now and then, if you can afford to research, then do the research. I'm sort of in between the things. Okay, people say do all kinds of book reading and research, but it's like, yeah, but don't overdo yourself, because if you don't need to go there, then don't go there yet. But maybe maybe I would say have a window, a doggy in the window, sort of casual walk by, look at something, and then say, is there something there that can interest me? Okay. Uh, we only look up about diseases if we got the symptoms. I know I did with my appendix. So that's all the report for now. Nothing more as far as. So basically, we started the open house visits. So people are now coming into this house. I try to hide everything that I should be hiding. Ultimately, I can't stop strangers from grabbing stuff and running out of the house with it. And the realtor is not a strong big woman, okay, and her husband can barely walk around. So that's a tough one. Uh, so I'm preparing for every eventuality. If my sister decides to flip the script and give me shit because she's like that, she just like Kathleen Kennedy, just like Gail Simone. It's kind of scary, but I have to film around the noise. But I think I'll be fine. Like I said, I have to prepare. If my sister decides to flip the script, I have to prepare for everything. So I keep my suitcases close by, a small set of clothes, like 5 pairs of clothes, like as though I'm traveling. But ultimately, if the people in my family decide to backhand me, I have to be prepared to go on my own. And that's part of being a man. That's part of being an adult. I'm almost 50. I gotta. This is the way I have to think. Okay. It would have been nice if the people in my life had been nicer to me and been happy for me, and the selfish cunty attitudes would have been fucked up the ass. Because after 20 or 30 years, the comic strip gags and the comic strip script gets a little old, and people don't want to deal with that anymore. They don't want to play the game anymore. So I got a couple of more videos tonight. I'll post another short in the park just after this video. So until then, keep happy, keep sane.